Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I'm your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here.
So nice to have you once more. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about Jupiter and Saturn.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about how they're the social planets, that's what they're referred to as. And we're also going to be talking about how their position and phase within your chart may be another way to interpret these energies that are coming through with these two particular planets.
Okay.
Because basically, Saturn and Jupiter are the two biggest planets, right?
Yeah.
So as we know, Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius, and they actually have opposite themes.
They do. Yes. Jupiter is all about expansion. It is the biggest, obviously, planet in our solar system. People at first thought it was sort of a failed sun, but it turns out that's maybe possibly not accurate, but they are the gas giants. Jupiter has more mass than all of the rest of the solar system combined, and then some. And Saturn is a spectacularly gorgeous ringed planet. It's our only ringed planet. Although I think maybe they thought maybe Uranus was developing sort of rings a little bit in recent years. But yeah, they also were the outermost planets in the ancient world, because of course we didn't discover Uranus until we had telescopes in the 1700s.
Yeah.
So.
And even their myth, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, so Saturn was the Roman version of the Greek god Kronos.
Okay.
He's one of the OG gods, Kronos meaning like the father of time, essentially. So Kronos was the sort of the father of Zeus and Hades and Poseidon.
So would that be Jupiter?
That's Saturn. So Saturn is just the Roman sort of remaking. Rome basically they kind of they took all the Greek gods and kind of like changed their names.
Of course they did.
It's a little Marvel Universe thing. It's like they kind of just made their own version, Coke, Pepsi, whatever.
Yeah.
But so essentially the Kronos was the kind of the father, and Zeus and Poseidon eventually rose up and kind of defeated Kronos. Kronos and Rhea were, Rhea being the mother of Zeus.
Okay.
And yeah, so Jupiter is the Roman equivalent of Zeus.
So sorry, did I miss a step there? Is Kronos like Jupiter's father sort of thing?
Yes, exactly. So Saturn is the Roman version of Kronos, and Jupiter is the Roman version of Zeus. So Saturn is basically Jupiter's father, but also Jupiter is Zeus, and that's the father of all the gods.
Right.
So there's one step above kind of the father of all the gods, and that's Saturn. He's kind of the OG, level one.
Yes.
And then, yeah.
And Saturn itself does represent old men.
Old men, exactly. Old men, institutions, and
time.
Exactly. The limitations of time.
And don't you call watches chronometers?
Yeah, 100%.
Or is it just some timepieces or chronometers?
I mean, I think anything that tells time is a chronometer. It could be a watch. It could be a clock. It could be a sundial.
Or there's even those ones in Prague.
Yeah. Oh my God. If anyone who's like at home near like their phone or computer or anything, Google the Prague astrology clock.
Yeah.
And if you want to be like super impressed by just the visual amazingness of something. And there are beautiful skeletons and cool astrological symbols. And it's one of the most amazing things.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get some images together. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then, moving on from Saturn, Jupiter is the god of the sky and the heavens, basically, because Zeus is the leader of Mount Olympus, which is where all the gods live.
Right.
If anyone has seen Thor, God and Thunder, he was played memorably by Russell Crowe.
Okay.
In a hilarious turn of acting. But so Jupiter, Zeus, same guy essentially. Jupiter, though, is a much more sort of jovial, actually there is a pun intended, but anyway.
That's where the word comes from, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the softer, like I think of these both as father figures, but I think of Saturn as like the
like the grandfather maybe.
Yeah. And the sort of stern, disciplinarian, the put on a sweater kind of dad.
Yeah.
And Jupiter's the one who, pays for your tuition and just wants to see you get ahead and is helping you along and educating you and is generous and beneficent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jupiter is also a reflection of uncles in your chart.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yes, and I think we spoke about this previously. That's why Jupiter also rules pawnbrokers, because when you say I'm going to my uncle, you mean you're going to the pawnbroker.
That's hilarious.
Yes. Yeah. So just in general, a couple of themes for Jupiter is luck and opportunity, optimism and confidence, growth and expansion, belief systems and philosophies, and seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So it's very outward going.
Yeah. As opposed to Saturn, which is associated with restriction and limitations and responsibility, duty.
Yeah. Structures and boundaries, limitations and restraint, responsibility and maturity, mastery through effort, and time and patience.
Right. And Jupiter is mastery through either the beneficence of others or through luck or through
education,
natural gifts or education.
So these two planets in general are have contrasting energies within your chart.
Yeah.
Jupiter's and Saturn. And I've just got a short list here of contrast that I just we'll talk about them in a moment. So we've got Jupiter pushes where Saturn pulls.
Love it.
Jupiter gives and Saturn takes. Jupiter expands and Saturn contracts. And then I'm saying Jupiter expands and Saturn limits that expansion, and Jupiter is growth, but Saturn is consolidation.
Yeah.
So where you want to grow and expand and have some luck and have some optimism about life is represented by your Jupiter.
Yeah.
And where your Saturn is, it's where you're saying, oh, let me just rein that in a bit. Let me just curb my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And self-restraint needs to be implied, or you are restrained for other reasons, where your Saturn placement is.
And when we say where, do we mean the house placement or do we mean the sign placement?
Well, both, really.
Yeah. So I would think that the house placement is like where, in what area of your life does that express itself? And the sign placement is how does that express itself?
Yes.
So how does your Saturn behave in your life? Well, personally, I have Saturn in Cancer.
Right.
So I would think that expresses itself in my fear that I will be evicted and homeless. So, right? It's about your fears. It's about, what it is that
it is
fear that drives you. Mars may be what drives you to get off the couch and to motivate you, but Saturn is what drives you because you are terrified of life and the responsibilities and all of that stuff. So
very interesting. Very interesting.
I read some incredibly long, and the day or the actual website is lost in time, but it was really long thing about your Saturn return and what sign your Saturn is in and what it means. And it was an incredibly exhaustive website that talked all about, and of course, Saturn in Cancer, whatever you have Saturn in, that'll be like 2 to 3 years, almost 3 years. So people who have, within like 3 years of you will all have the Saturn in the same sign.
Yes.
So it's almost like a generational thing, a little bit. You can think of it that way. So as those people come to their Saturn return, those themes will come up for them. And my Saturn return was all about
your first one. You're talking about
my first one. Yeah,
your first and only one. I beg your pardon. You're still quite young, aren't you?
I'm. Yes, I have not had my second Saturn return yet. It's a couple of years off, but yeah,
the first one. That's the biggie.
Yeah, when I was
30-ish.
Was I 28? Yeah, because it happened for me in 2000 something. Yeah, I was almost 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been that time, yeah.
Yeah. And sure enough, like literally on the day of my Saturn return, like just cataclysmic fear of losing my apartment. I had lost my job. I was searching
you had
for
no foundations.
No foundations. And just this fear that I was losing everything. And the state was like oppressing me. And and yet also I was
felt limited and restricted.
And yes. Yeah.
And they're coming through that Cancerian theme.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Yeah. Just having a little hermit shell over my head was just home was all I had at the time. And oh my God, they want to take that too. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Stuff,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
You don't pay your rent. You cannot stay in your shell.
No.
You know?
We will, yes,
Yeah.
we will hook you out of that shell just like an oyster, right? Or a crab
Exactly.
out of your Cancer shell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is very interesting. Whereas, say, for instance, a Jupiter, wherever your Jupiter is placed, and
Yeah.
for you, you've got it in Aquarius.
Right.
So and this definitely shows who you're optimistic. You know,
Yeah,
on
optimistic, futuristic.
social issues.
I love science fiction. I love to think of myself as a socially active person.
You are
a humanitarian,
definitely, yes.
and always thinking about what's best for society
And the underdog.
Yeah, and the underdog for sure.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and I mean, you feel some of that does also, come from the empathy of having Saturn in Cancer and feeling empathy for those who are
less fortunate.
Less fortunate, yeah, and we're in precarious housing situations. God forbid.
Yes, and I know. I mean, we've spoken about this before, and I know that you did some work with the homeless and doing the count and whatnot.
Several years ago.
Kudos to you. I mean, it's something.
Used to do this thing. They don't do it anymore, I think, but they were for several years doing a homeless count.
But you were the one doing it.
I volunteered for sure. Yeah, 4 years in a row.
You see, that's a very a feeling that you need to step up and do that.
Yeah.
So
I feel that, my Jupiter and Saturn are both represented in that desire to help. Yeah.
Super interesting. Yeah.
You?
Yes. So I've got Saturn is in Capricorn. So it's
in its own.
It's in its own sign. It generally behaves itself.
So what we want.
It's not my biggest problem, but I stick to the law. I don't jaywalk.
Wow, I do.
Yes, I know. I don't jaywalk.
I know, I've seen it.
Things like that. And in general, I abide by the rules as best I can.
Yeah.
And time management is definitely, I've got timetables and definitely. So that works well. And even last year when we went away on a writing retreat, my friends and I set up a timetable, which is Saturn. Remember about what we're going to do next, because I wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
And whether or not they did it didn't really matter. But the idea was if you've got something to start with, a starting point, you can then say, oh, we're going to write at this point, then we'll have dinner at 6.
Yeah.
So everyone's not thinking we're having dinner at 11 p.m. because I'm not on that board for that one at all.
Well, it's great for writing too, because it's nice to have a time limit and just say you have the next 3 hours to write, and it's not like a blank page.
Yes,
you have a blank page for sure, but time wise,
that's right.
Okay, you've got to come up with something.
Yeah, and
better with that too.
Time, and then my Jupiter is in Scorpio, so again, it's cautiously optimistic.
Yes,
reality, the Scorpio reality. I am aware of that life is now and again I get optimistic about things, but not often. That Jupiter does not run away with itself. It's This episode is brought to you by New Moon Wishing, a self-care guidebook for wishful thinkers. Please see the link in the show notes. Of the two, you see, if you're weighing the two, then I would be wanting to say that Saturn is more prominent and its energy is more easily expressed in my chart, whereas the Jupiter is not compared to Saturn.
Right, absolutely.
So regarding yours,
for me, which one is stronger?
So with Saturn in Cancer, that's actually in its detriment.
Yeah.
And so we would assume that the Jupiter in Aquarius possibly has the edge and the more positive outlook and the optimism and
well, I am definitely more optimistic than pessimistic, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think the point being now that what we're saying is that we've got these two energies in your chart. You need to understand what Saturn is trying to do by its placement by sign and house, and what Jupiter is trying to do. And then the next thing you would want to look at is actually the phase between them.
Yeah.
Because the principle of phase, it can be related to any two planets. So normally we talk about the lunar phase, and that is the relationship between the sun and the moon.
Right. And everyone knows what a full moon is and a new moon.
Yes. So, but that principle of phase, the actual meaning of one of each of the 8 phases remains, even when you take it away from sun, moon and put it to two pairs of
any
planets.
2 planets.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in this case, Jupiter and Saturn.
Yeah. Amazing. That's very cool.
Yeah, and there are some specific, obviously, well, this is good old astrology. There are main keywords for phase, but this is also phase itself. The 8 phases are also related to the sun cycle, starting at the Aries ingress when it crosses through, and that's where it all begins.
Okay.
So if you talk, I'm just going to go on a sidebar here. If you talk about the plant life cycle, this is a life cycle from the birth, which is the conjunction.
Yeah.
The actual cycle goes through, and your first phase technically would be germination. This would be new moon,
and this is associated kind of with the first house. Yeah. So it's like as if the ascendant were the yeah,
kind of, but it's from the conjunction wherever that occurs. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got this new phase, and in the plant world, it's the germination of the actual seed. Whereas prior to that conjunction, the seed was lying dormant.
Yeah.
And then germination occurs. You can also put this to conception because we can't see that, but we know it happens.
Absolutely.
Your second phase would then be crescent, which is when the first 2 leaves come above the ground, and you've got this thin little white thing with 2 little leaves. Yeah. So there is life, but you don't know what that plant is.
Yeah.
It could be an oak tree, or it could be
poison ivy.
Poison ivy, exactly. And then we get to the first quarter phase, and here you've got root growth. So by now, this little plant is getting established because it's at this position, and it's putting down roots so that it can get that foundation to grow up.
Right. And the roots will be as long, deep into the ground as the plant is tall above.
Apparently, yes, yes. And then we get onto the 4th phase, which is the gibbous phase. And here in the plant world, we've got buds and blossoms. So say you look at the cherry blossoms, which we have at the moment.
Yeah.
So the blossoms come out, and if it's going to be, well, on an apple tree, if it's going to be a red apple, you've got a pink blossom. If it's going to be a green apple, you've got a white blossom. But the blossom shows the potential.
Yeah.
Still coming forward. When we get to the full phase, we are at the flowers and all the fruit.
Okay.
So at this point, it's fruition.
Yeah.
So fruit is on the tree. Flowers have come out. It is the full potential being shown at the full.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
And then we get to the disseminating phase, and this is actually the mainly the harvest, where you're now taking it because these fruits are now fully sweet.
So they're falling from the tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's time to take the heart. Of course, you've got the early, the middle, and the late harvest. I mean, if you've grown grapes, you know what I'm saying. But in general, you want to harvest the bounty that came at the full.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this all came from this conception point.
Yeah.
Whatever the conception was.
Right.
And then we get to the last quarter phase, and this is it's starting for decomposition now.
Yeah.
What's happening is the leaves are falling from the trees, and the plant is not it's not dead, but it's decomposing.
Yeah, it's going into a state of stasis for the winter so that it can protect itself.
Yeah.
And all the leaves are falling, all the fruit is gone, everything is around the ground and sinking and decaying into the ground to cause more
future.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, and going back to the disseminating phase, that's when seed pods pop.
Right.
And
fall to the ground to make more.
Yes, for the future.
Yeah.
And then we get the final phase, which is the balsamic phase. And this is where everything is lying fallow.
Right.
So the seeds are lying on the ground. The leaves are lying on top. Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
It's a time for rest.
Yeah.
Until the new conception.
Yeah.
And then life cycle begins again. So
8 phases.
There's 8 phases, and you can relate it to the plant cycle. You can relate it to the sun cycle around the seasons.
Yeah.
Starting at Aries equinox when spring begins, and suddenly things are sprouting. Mm-hmm. The lambs are being born. The crops are coming up.
Yeah.
And then you get the harvest, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So the principle of phase itself can be related to, well, life, the bigger picture, the smaller picture, your back garden, and 2 planets. So
I love that.
That's kind of what we're going to be talking about now. So the real question is then, what phase is your Jupiter in relation to your Saturn?
Okay. And this has nothing to do with aspects, right? Because I can look at any chart and be like, oh, Jupiter and Saturn, they're making a trine. They're conjunct. They're opposite each other. Nothing to do with that, right?
Well, it's not that it's nothing to do with it, but it's you're going down the wrong road.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to just do full disclosure here.
Please do, because people who are listening will have the same.
They'll be like, what is happening? Right, so you texted me a week ago and said, okay, in preparation for our next recording, I would love if you could do a little bit of research and find some people who are in each phase. And I was like, cool.
And I gave you some. I had some.
You gave some examples. Me and you and a couple of other people we know. And I was like, okay, awesome. Yeah, I can totally do that. Great. And then I was looking at it for days, actually. And I was looking at my dad. I was looking at my mother's chart. And then I looked at my own chart, and what you had said was my phase. And I'm like,
and I said, what is a full phase, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't see it. I don't know why. I don't understand. Because my Jupiter and Saturn, they're not opposite. I would have thought if it was a full phase that they would be opposite each other. Like the full moon is when with the sun and moon are in opposition.
Yeah.
So that would have been what I would think would be full, but no. Yeah. So I'm confused. Our audience will probably be confused. We need to explain it really well. So yeah, I was like, I tried to do the research. Yeah. Full disclosure.
Yes. So it's a tricky one. And okay, so when you look at a chart, if you want to calculate the phase between two bodies,
any two bodies,
what you're going to do is you've got two bodies, right? And we're talking about Saturn and Jupiter, so let's just stick with that.
Yeah.
So technically, there is going to be a diagram. If you click through to the blog post, there is a diagram about this.
Click through. Yeah.
Definitely click through. And what you want to do is you want to put the slower moving body. You need to know which is slower. Is it Saturn or Jupiter? If today's topic sparked questions about your own chart, you can book a private consultation with me, Alison, at Starzology.com. In a one-to-one session, we will look at your natal chart and current transits with clarity and structure, so you leave with real insights and practical timing. Click the link in the show notes to book your session, and if you are ready for deeper answers, I would love to work with you.
And that will always be the one that's farther out in the solar system, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
So you need to know that bit to start with. So
wait, except if it's the moon, right? The moon is always the fastest moving.
Yes.
So the moon moves faster than Mercury, for example.
Yes.
So
you want
so that would be the one exception, because technically.
Well, this is the point. You want the slower moving body.
Yeah.
And you place it on the left-hand side, technically in the ascendant position, if you're talking astrologically. Yeah. And there is a diagram there about this phase and aspect, and I gave you one there. Yeah.
In this case, Saturn would obviously be the slowest moving.
Why are we saying obviously?
Because it is farther out from the solar system. It takes 36 years to move around.
30. Yeah.
30. Thank you. And Jupiter takes 12.
Yes, exactly.
Very much faster.
Yeah. So those of you who are following along, you want to put Saturn in the ascendant position on the diagram that we have on the blog post.
Yeah. And which means that if you're looking at your chart, and let's say your Saturn is in your 8th house, like mine is, you're going to want to turn your chart, literally the wheel.
Yes.
Look at the wheel. Don't look at the grid. Don't look at the list of planets. Look at the actual wheel and turn your chart so that Saturn is at the ascendant position.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then you look at our handy-dandy phase and aspect diagram on the blog post.
Yeah.
And with Saturn in that position, you then want to say, where is Jupiter?
Yeah.
And then wherever Jupiter is in the chart, it will then show you.
Full. I see it.
It will then show you the phase that it is in. So let me talk to you about phase, because you're getting confused with ascendant.
I am not anymore, though, because of what you just said with putting it on the ascendant. That is unlocked. Okay. I totally understand it now. It's amazing.
Yes, because phase, although the full phase that you have, you would think, oh, it's an opposition. Well, technically, yes, it is. The exact phase begins at the opposition, but your Jupiter and Saturn are not in opposition.
No.
But Jupiter is in the full phase to Saturn.
Right, because it's not quite at the opposition yet, but it will be because it's moving faster.
Each phase is 45 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I made Arwynne a handy-dandy cutout little
This is amazing.
thingy.
You did take a picture of this to put on the blog, yeah?
Oh, well, I'm going to make a fully
proper one.
Yeah, a proper one.
Mine's beautiful. It's hands-on. It's so amazing. Alison literally took a little video sending this to me earlier today, and I was in the gym and I looked at it and I was like, oh, thank God. I didn't still understand it yet. But I was like, okay.
Yeah, so it's a handy little thing, and the idea is that where the little yellow bit that sticks out is, that's where the slow planet goes. So when you look at your mother's chart, You say, where's the slow planet? Let me turn this. And I did it small enough so you can lay it over.
I love it.
And then you don't even have to turn it then. You just put that yellow thing where Saturn is.
Oh my God.
Are you
so
with
amazing.
me?
Yes, I totally understand it now.
Because when I got the questions from you today, I thought, she's not getting this.
I'm
I
not
thought
getting it.
other people aren't
all.
getting it either. And
No.
I'm thinking, I need to go back and just re-explain this one more time, clearer, because it's not, I want to say it's not that complicated.
It wasn't landing at all. She's just like, look at the chart. I'm like, I am.
So now let's go to then look at your mother's chart.
Let's
you
do
can
that.
open that up and we can
do that right
and we
now.
can look at the chart because we want you to get it right.
So Saturn is right there. And then Jupiter, she's also full.
She's also a full face.
Yeah.
There you go. Who knew?
So
Handy
easy.
to know. So she won't have to look up at hers. And,
in case she's listening.
And then you had your dad's chart or your partner's chart you were questioning too, right?
I think, yep. Well, let's just do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take the, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make a PDF
do that.
download that
people
can
do
they
it,
can
and then
print it, they can cut it out and use it. Because I'm talking to people like Sarah there as well, that maybe you just need a little bit of extra help because this phase not only works for Saturn and Jupiter, it works for the sun and the moon and all the rest of them.
Totally.
And within the diagram of the phase calculation,
he's crescent.
Sorry. He's a crescent. There you go. So within the diagram that I'm presenting you, I also have put the aspects because that was your question.
Yeah. How does this relate to aspects?
Exactly. Right. Because say, for instance, you've got Saturn conjunct Jupiter. The question, and the orb there is 8 degrees. But the question is it a balsamic conjunction or a new phase conjunction? Right. And that's what you need to know. Right. There is no orb with phase. The phase begins at the exact 45 degree and goes for 45. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with the opposition. If you've got, like Roger has, he's got Jupiter trine Saturn, you saying blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, then, it's either going to be first quarter or it's going to be disseminating.
Yeah, totally.
And the answer is, as Arwynne's looking at it, well, you'll get back to us on that. Yes. But the point being that they're two separate things, but they're both ways of measuring the relationship between Jupiter and Saturn. Now, we've spoken about aspects between the two, but now we're talking about the principle of phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do we have an answer for Roger there? Okay.
I was looking at my dad's. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said
my dad's first quarter, by the way.
I thought you said crescent.
No.
Okay. Perfect.
My dad is first quarter.
That's great. Good to know.
And now I'm back to Roger.
Yes. And
this is so much fun.
Oh, good. It's handy to have a visual.
It is.
And honestly, this has been my strength all along with astrology, is drawing a diagram. Look at this. This is what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Because it is complicated. I mean, so Roger is, where is?
Yeah, so
Roger is crescent.
He's a crescent.
Yeah, crescent.
Not a trine.
Well, I mean, they are.
You told me that Jupiter and Saturn would trine each other.
Oh, my dad.
Oh, okay. Sorry, confusion.
No, so for Roger, it's crescent, and for my dad, it's first quarter.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we know for you, you're full. And on and on it goes.
So awesome. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in this, print the little diagram. This is a game changer. It's awesome.
Well,
it's just a little circle, and it's got the little tab where it says slow, and you can lay it over the chart on your screen.
Yes.
Just put the little tab where Saturn is, and then go, okay, where's Jupiter? And then you can see it.
Exactly. And so I might do it.
Unfortunately, the software doesn't tell you this.
No.
This is one of those things.
Well, it's Advanced Natal Astrology. Yeah.
In one day, possibly.
What I will possibly do is do a separate post for the actual, to calculate that, because then it makes more sense. Then I can also give a list of which planets are faster than others, because maybe people don't know that either.
Right. I mean, it's just basically the solar system, yeah?
Well, you had the question about the moon just now, right?
Right. And the moon is faster than Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I will also probably do an extended post exactly about this particular PDF download, about the actual speeds of the planets, because let's spell it out, because you just assume people know, but clearly they don't. And then you can go from there.
So here's a question.
Yes.
How do you calculate the sun versus any other planet? Because in Earth-based astrology versus heliocentric astrology, we consider the sun a planet.
Yeah.
So would you, I mean, I'm assuming the sun.
Which other planet?
Well, I mean, let's say the sun and, I don't know, Jupiter. Could you?
Well, which is faster?
Well, obviously Jupiter.
No.
No?
Why is Jupiter faster? It takes 12 years to go around. How long does the sun take? How long does the sun take to go around the zodiac?
Oh, a year. Okay, sorry. Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh.
No, but right. So I'm going to do a list of speeds.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, it is complicated.
It kind of is, but once you get your head around it,
Yeah.
because you need to, as an astrologer, you need to be able to look at a chart and see what the phase is
So
just
the
by looking at the chart.
So the moon is the fastest,
Then Mercury.
then Mercury, then the sun,
Typically, yes.
then Venus, then Mars.
Mercury, Sun,
Wow.
yeah, it just does depend, but Mercury actually travels further in a year than the sun does because it does its 3 retrogrades.
Oh, wow.
So it's going faster.
Yeah.
Tricky.
Yeah.
Huh. I know.
Wow.
But yeah, it actually is.
Yeah.
So normally you would look at the phase of the sun moon to say, what's the lunar phase? Is it a full moon?
Right.
When does Ramadan begin? Things like this. When is Easter? It's the first new moon after
Yeah.
And these are measurements we are used to talking about. Oh, it's a full moon phase.
Yeah.
We can now say,
you can see it in the
yes,
sky.
but now we can say between your Jupiter and Saturn, which are the 2 planets that are opposite energies, what phase is this energy vibe in your chart? And we said the answer was full.
Yes.
Did we not?
For me.
Yes, for
Perfectly. You. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So let's go through what the phases
The phases mean, yes.
Now that we've sort of explained how to calculate it.
I know. Okay. Okay, great, Arwynne. So just before we do that, we're going to talk about where phases begin from. So a new synodic cycle, a new cycle of Jupiter and Saturn will begin at the conjunction.
Yes.
And if we,
it's a 20-year cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are known as great conjunctions, and it was what the ancients all knew. And the phase we're living, or the cycle we're living in at the moment, began in 2020.
Yeah.
When Jupiter and Saturn were both at 0 degrees 29 Aquarius.
Yeah.
Now back then, there were several hits when you take the final hit for the actual conjunction chart, and this was technically around when COVID came down, and that's the chart. So that shows the potential. 0 Aquarius shows the potential for the current phases that we are in now.
Yeah.
So if we look at the chart, we're talking here in May 2026. Jupiter is actually around first quarter phase because it's taken that long to move away from Saturn.
Yeah.
So that's the transiting phase that we're talking about. So you would say we're in this phase and that phase. And the phase will change eventually when Jupiter gets to the new phase.
Right.
But in your natal chart, you need to go back to the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn before you were born to find its conception chart to show the nature of that cycle that you are living in, which will be technically could be different to mine.
Right.
Because you were obviously born before 2020 or 2080 or 2060. So, or not. So there will be, you will have a natal synodic chart beginning phase, and that will last for 20 years.
So, for example, if you were born in 1973, like myself, you're born between the 1960 and 1980 cycle.
Yes. So which one would you choose?
In that cycle? So in my
but where's your beginning chart then?
In 1960.
Yes. So that's the chart you need to go and find out.
Exactly.
And it depends who you are as you're listening.
Yeah, the great conjunction of 1960 is what you'd want to look at. And then, so if you're born in the 80s, you'd want to look at the 1980 conjunction chart.
So you want to go back to the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction before you were born. And it could be up to 20 years before you were born.
Right. Yeah. You could be born in 1999, for example, and you'd still want to look at the 1980 chart.
Yeah. So that's the point. So, but the cycle we're in technically now, as we speak, is the 2021. That's just an example, as I say on the blog post. And that's what you need to go and find out too.
Yeah. They all have their own flavor based on that conjunction.
Yes, because that chart is the birth chart for the cycle. So you interpret the birth chart.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So generally, phase lengths last for Jupiter-Saturn phase lasts for about 2.5 years because it's a 20-year cycle. So it's 10 years, 5 years, 2.5. Yeah. And you've got the four waxing phases from that conjunction going up to the full, and then you've got the 4 waning phases, and it's noted on your handy dandy little. We'll have to give that a good name, Arwynne. Yeah. So within the I'm just going to read a little bit here.
Yeah.
So within the, as we start off if you got the new phase, do we have anyone with new phase that we had our finger on? I don't think we did. Anyway, let me go on.
Yeah.
At the exact conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn, it signals the seed moment for the new phase. The synodic chart, which is the birth chart we're talking about, will show the possibilities for the whole cycle. So you want to know, where is Jupiter and Saturn? What sign are they in? And what aspects is that conjunction attracting? A fresh new beginning where the new cycle of expansion and stability quietly takes root.
This is probably the easiest one to actually figure out, because they will be conjunct.
Yes, yes. So the sign will show the main theme and the conjunction's dispositor. So the dispositor is the planet that rules the sign that the conjunction occurs in, and the one we're talking about for today was in Aquarius. And therefore,
Saturn.
which planets rule Aquarius? Saturn and Uranus.
Yes. Yeah.
So they are the dispositors, which we'll have more to say about what will unfold from now on until the end of the whole cycle in 20 years' time.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And you may not yet see where it's going, but something is stirring. It is a time to set intentions and allow ideas to emerge without needing all the answers. That's the new phase.
All right. So if someone was born with that in their chart,
that's the phase of the expansion contraction. Yeah. Then if we have the crescent phase, I think you said you had somebody with a crescent phase.
Yes, my partner, and also your niece, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you got those effects there.
Yeah.
So the crescent phase begins when Jupiter is 45 degrees ahead of Saturn at the opening semi-square aspect. Now the first signs of movement appear. This is what we're talking about. This is where the two leaves come. The energy now asks for your participation. Gentle effort is needed to build momentum. This phase can feel delicate and tentative as you step into something new, but small, consistent actions bring the shape to the path ahead.
Nice. So would you say, I feel like this is an optimistic phase placement. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. And then we have the first quarter phase. So this begins when Jupiter is 90 degrees ahead of Saturn at the opening square. This is a crisis point because it's a square. Challenges arise that stir you to action and make decisions. I believe that you may need to adjust your approach to overcome obstacles at this point because Saturn's squaring Jupiter, basically. Growth now requires courage and a willingness to engage even when things feel uncertain.
Interesting. And we do know someone with this phase.
Do we?
And that is our super fan and friend of the podcast, Bo.
He's first quarter? Yeah. Okay, great. And next phase, then you've got the gibbous phase. So this begins when Jupiter is at 135 degrees ahead of Saturn? At the opening sesquiquadrate aspect, for the purists. Now refinement begins to focus. What has been started is developing well, but is still not quite complete. This is a time of careful shaping, editing, and improving. You begin to see what works and what needs to be adjusted before full expression.
Cool.
And then we get to the four, that then is the absolute opposition. Then we get to the four waning phases, right? And what I failed to say was that the waxing phases favor Jupiter and the waning phases favor Saturn because Jupiter is growing in light.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Saturn is restricting and contracting back.
Right.
So the four waning phases, I mean, this last 10 years, there's four phases here. So the full phase, this is you, right?
Yeah.
This begins when Jupiter is 180 degrees ahead of and directly opposite Saturn at the opposition. Now everything comes into view. There is clarity, awareness, and often a sense of culmination. The results of earlier efforts are now visible, and this can be a moment of achievement, recognition, or simply understanding what this cycle has brought into being.
Okay.
So technically for you, if you were my client, I would want to go back to when did this full phase start for you? Because we don't have the exact date. We just know you're in the full phase.
Yeah.
And we would say that you've got 2.5 years of this sort of energy unfolding. And we need to find out whatever that date was because your life has changed recently. I know that, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Then we get to the disseminating phase. This is when Jupiter is 225 degrees ahead of Saturn at the closing sesquiquadrate aspect.
Yeah.
Now the emphasis shifts to sharing what you have learned, created, and realized is ready to be expressed outwardly. Teaching, communication, and distributing your insights can feel natural here. There is a sense of giving back. I don't think we had anyone that we knew.
I've just found two of my friends, actually.
In disseminating.
Yes. My best friend, Helen, who I've talked about a lot, and the Taurus.
Right.
And my best friend from school, Nicholas.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's an Aquarius. Yeah.
There you go.
They both have that.
And then we get to the last quarter phase. So this begins when Jupiter is 270 degrees ahead of Saturn at the closing square.
Yeah.
This is a reflective turning point. You begin to reassess what has been built and decide what still holds value.
Mm-hmm.
Some things may need to be released. It is the time of reorientation where wisdom guides you to simplify and realign.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say this is where people are downsizing and where they are getting rid of their junk. What do they call that? Decluttering and getting the junk out that is no longer serving a purpose.
Yeah. And you were in this phase.
Yes, I have the last quarter phase between Jupiter and Saturn. We had to just double check that. Yeah. Talk about getting rid of junk. I've been taking a full black bag of junk out of this house every week, and it is still going. And there's just knick-knackery new. And I'm thinking, what was I thinking?
Mm-hmm.
There's clutter.
Yeah.
Ice crusher machines. Never going to use it again.
Wow.
Cake lifters. Never going to bake a cake ever again in my life.
I don't even know what a cake lifter is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stuff in the kitchen that is unbelievable. Clothes. I'm thinking, I will never wear that again. Yeah. So I have been purging junk. Yeah.
So I have a question. And this might be, yes. So birth phase versus transiting phase. Is this something that we interpret the phase of your birth chart? Obviously we do.
Yes.
But the phase that you're in, is there a transiting aspect to this? And I don't mean aspect, but
so from the natal chart, you will have a phase, and that's the one in your birth
forever.
chart.
Yeah, that's just you.
So that's really what your phase is that you are dealing with in this lifetime.
Yes, cool.
But the transiting phase is what the heck's going on in the world, who's bombing who, what's unfolding, blah, blah, blah.
Because it is a political
It's
thing.
global.
Because they're not outer planets, but they're social planets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Jupiter and Saturn, what they do in the world, what phase they're in the world, definitely.
Who's bullying who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So, but you want to look at your natal phase to understand, are you expanding? Are you contracting? And how is that being expressed?
Absolutely. So this will be a constant theme in your life.
Yes. It's like your lunar phase.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. If you're in the full moon phase, if you're in the full new moon phase, I know that I'm, a new moon person because I've got my sun and moon conjunct.
Right. You know that, and your little thing will tell you that too.
Yeah. Oh, yay. Exactly. Yeah. I just happen to know that because they're conjunct. But yeah,
exactly.
It's super interesting.
So now we look at
new moon. Yes, conjunct. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Yes. You go with the aspect again.
With Jupiter and Saturn. Yeah, full.
You've got the full phase, and that's in your natal chart of culmination, fruition.
Yeah.
That's the phase you're working with, and it's the Saturn side.
With Jupiter and Saturn specifically.
Yeah. So are you the ultimate optimistic? Not really.
No, I mean, I'm optimistic, but I'm not optimistic about the world per se. I'm optimistic about my place in the world because I feel like I'm well adjusted. But yeah, like if you ask me do you think everything's going to work out? No.
Exactly.
No, we're going to run out of oil. We're going to run out of cadmium or whatever the hell, lithium. We're going to, But
I mean, this is not the first thing you look at, your Jupiter-Saturn phase.
No.
But if you want to go deep in the natal chart interpretations, you have to give some consideration to this because you'll have a client who's saying, I'm thinking of opening a business and I'm thinking of expanding, blah, blah. And those are all Jupiter words.
Yeah.
And they haven't just thought of that today. It's part of who they are.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah. Does that explain why I am so fearful of the idea of investing and all those future forward types of things? And to me, it just sounds like gambling. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever happens.
I'm going to shut my purse.
Right. And meanwhile, my partner is literally he's subscribed to all these YouTube channels where talking about investments.
And what's his phase? Sorry, Arwynne.
Is it last quarter? I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. I will tell you in a second.
But you see, you and he have different phases. You see it differently.
Exactly.
My father used to say, you have to speculate to accumulate.
Oh,
my mother used to say,
spend money to make money.
Yeah, my mother used to say, stop wasting money. They're two different approaches.
Absolutely. And my partner is crescent phase. So that makes sense because he's
got the two leaves. Potential.
He's all about, he's got this network. He's now like subscribed to something where there's this app of all these people who talk about their investments. And to me that like, I just cringe. I can't even imagine. Like that's terrifying to me.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
Different.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. It's a thing. It's I mean, when I used to go to the casinos with my husband, he never gambled and he just indulged me. And I would sit there and be throwing money in the machine and he would sit behind me. And when it got up to a certain amount, he said, okay, cash that out. And I gave him the ticket and he went and cashed the money and put it in his pocket. He wouldn't give it back to me.
That's me.
That's you. Yeah, you see.
I do that. I went like to the casino, not with my partner because he will gamble, but he's not like a, degenerate gambler. But I had a couple of friends who are like, that's their weakness.
Yes.
Gambling.
Yes.
And when we went to the casino
Don't say it's a weakness.
No, I'm so sorry.
Maybe a proclivity.
That's their recreation. But
yes.
But yeah, like they would win something and I would like just take literally put it down my shirt. I'm like, okay, cool. This chip's going here now. I'll hold this for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because I have friends who will literally just go and they will, gamble a whole bunch. They'll be up by like $1,000 and they're like, oh, cool. And then they just gamble a bunch of it and then they lose it all. And they're like, well, I was up by 1,000. I'm like, bro,
I know
that doesn't count.
Can you hear it?
The house always wins, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So our final
phase is the one that believes the house always wins. That's me.
There you go. Right there, you said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think yes, but someone's going to win it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So the final phase is balsamic. So this is when Jupiter is 113 degrees ahead of Saturn at the closing semi-square aspect.
Okay.
Now the cycle draws to a close. This is a quiet, inward quality as you prepare to let go and make space for the next beginning. Rest, reflection, and closure are important now. Trust that something new will emerge, even if it is not yet visible.
Nice.
So with your natal chart, you want to be looking at what you need to assess Saturn and Jupiter. You need to assess what signs are they in, what houses are they in, all that jazz. If they have an aspect, we want to know about it, and then you want to look at the phase.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So when you're reading a natal chart, first you're going to consider which planet is stronger by dignity. And for you, we said it was going to be Jupiter because Saturn's weak.
Yeah.
For me, it's Saturn because Saturn's strong. The house placements, whether they aspect each other, and their phase relationship. A strong Jupiter with a weak Saturn may show enthusiasm without structure, and a strong Saturn with a weak Jupiter may show caution that limits growth.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I do have a couple of common pitfalls I just want to mention here too. Is that so you're going to watch out. You don't just say, "Oh, these are my points." That seeing Jupiter as only good and Saturn as only bad.
Yeah, no.
Don't do that.
No.
Ignoring their balance within the chart.
Yeah.
Okay. Overlooking timing cycles because you need to pay attention to these cycles and forgetting that both are necessary for growth. Really, they are.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, Arwynne, having been exposed to this whole new theory, basically today, and you're quite a substantial astrologer yourself.
Thank you.
How do you feel about this sort of approach to expansion contraction? Am I going to take a chance? Am I not?
Yeah, it definitely says something. And like, honestly, printing out this little like dial is a game changer.
Okay.
Laying it over the chart and actually being able to see, oh, that's what the phase is. It's amazing. So,
yeah.
Yeah. That will definitely help you.
Help you to find the phase in the first place because you didn't know the phase was there.
Not only did I not know it was there, I did not know how to find it or how to even think about it.
Okay.
Because I was trying to think about it in terms of aspects. I'm like, well, if it's square, then it should be the last quarter or something. No, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, because it's divided into 8 versus 12.
Yes,
it's not similar
because it's phase. Because we've got 8 phases of the moon. We've got eight. Yeah. These are your 8 Wheel of the Year festivals.
Right.
It's the same principle. At that festival, the new phase begins.
Totally. That
we are living with with the solar cycle.
Yeah.
So the principle of phase is more well, transiting phase is more of a background thing.
It's like seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah, super interesting. I really like it.
Yeah. So let's go. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so today we've been talking about Jupiter and Saturn. We've actually been having a closer look at their phase position, both natally, how to find it, how to look at the synodic cycle that began the phase that you have in your natal chart. Yes, I'd love to hear if you can manage to do that. That would be great. Clearly there are challenges with these things. And we've also been talking about how to actually interpret the phase that you have within your natal chart and to understand some deep urges that these planets place on you, because this is how they are placed in your chart.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to make a point here that it's not just Jupiter and Saturn that phase, that all the planets, you can do this for all the planets. So we're going to be looking at a couple more in a couple more future podcasts.
Yeah.
But we know the sun, moon. Everybody knows that. Hopefully you know what lunar phase you have.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also, when we spoke about the progress lunar phase, it's the same principle.
Right.
What phase are you in?
Yeah.
And with the life cycle, that although we spoke about the plant cycle, that you've got conception, then you come all the way around to basically death. That's your life as well, that you are conceived and then you grow to this, and you are at, however old you are, you are at a certain phase in life.
Totally.
And then when you finally get around to the balsamic, you're just sitting quietly in the corner because that is the natural phase of living. So there's a lot to think about here, and that's one of the things that we wanted to do with this podcast, is have a conversation that you guys are thinking about during the week, thinking, let me just go back about that, let me give this some more thought and keep the conversation going. That's what we said, right?
I love that. It's super interesting.
Yes. So if you have found value in this episode, please do consider sharing it with anybody who would be interested. Make sure to like and give us a thumbs up to our episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, you can give us a comment on YouTube. We absolutely appreciate it. Yes. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Buzzsprouts. Not Buzzsprout. Spotify. That's correct. And make sure you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter. That comes out every Sunday. Additionally, make sure you're getting Arwynne's newsletter, and you can find Arwynne at...
I am at mspink.net, MSPINK, and I send out my weekly newsletter every Saturday.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, thanks for being with us, Arwynne, and thanks to all our listeners, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for getting this far through the episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about the 2 main options of my astrology services. So the first one is coaching. If you are an aspiring astrologer, and by that I mean someone who's perhaps a hobbyist astrologer, or someone who's learning astrology, or a student, or you've got a few books and you've been doing it for a while, but perhaps you need a little bit of help to bring it all together, then maybe getting some astrological coaching from me would be the answer for you. The astrology coaching I offer is a 1-hour session on Zoom, and it's tailored to answer your particular questions. For example, if you have issues with natal chart readings, we can go there. Or if you're having problems working with your forecasting, we can go there. Or even basic astrology stuff, or even getting yourself organized for your astrology business. The idea is that astrological coaching will answer your particular questions. It's tailored specifically to you and where you are in your astrological journey. And I'm happy to help you out with some guidance about how you can get going, what to focus on, and what to dismiss. So that would be the astrological coaching for people trying to learn astrology. The second astrological service I offer is consultations. So this is for someone who perhaps doesn't know anything about astrology, but they just want to have their chart read or get their chart done. Call it what you will. So once more, this is a 1-hour consultation over Zoom. I will interpret your chart, tell you about the main features, tell you about where the energy is flowing, and all the rest of what is entailed in a thorough natal chart interpretation. I can also add in some forecasting in there too, bearing in mind we only have 1 hour. So just in summary, I've got coaching for people who want to learn astrology, and I've got consultations for those who want to get an astrology reading done. I'm Alison Price from Starzology.com. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.